Welcome back, folks. Me, Phil Terrell. You're watching part 25 of the Final Fantasy VIII Let's Play, and we're recording as of Monday. I didn't get to record in this part until today, so I apologize for the delay. But in this part, we're going to start by farming some cautaurs for some valuable AP for the Galexander, the Galexander, for the Guardian Force Alexander. Because we're going to try to go after his medicine level ability, and to get this we need to get med data for 200 AP and then 120 more for medicine level up. So we need to take out about 16 cautaurs. Now if you don't have the Guardian Force ability initiative with Squall or Selfie with our strange vision weapon, then this could take a while, since you'll probably only kill one cactaur per battle with Squall. But if you use Selfie with her strange vision and you equip water on it, as well as Squall equip water in his, and then you have one of them have the initiative Guardian Force ability, which makes your character always have the first turn in battle, then you can at least always kill a cactaur in battle. And generally, I would say about 50% of the time, you can take out 2 cactaurs, which, you know, 2 cactaurs, that's 40 AP. So really, all you have to do is just do what, like, I can't do math at the moment. 4, 8, 6, 12. No, I'm doing it by 4s. So it'd be 8 battles. So that's a lot better. Even if you're only killing 1 cactaur per battle, the fact that you can grind out 320 AP in a relatively short amount of time is really invaluable. But it also breaks the game in Final Fantasy VIII. I know I've gone over this a lot, but I love breaking Final Fantasy VIII. But if you do what I'm doing, you'll break the game with the cactaurs here. And then one interesting thing, if you know what's on that island to the right, you're probably wondering yourself, well, Phil, where's the cactaur sprite up there? I guess not sprite, but model. That's another thing that I forgot to mention about this visual mods. They're not perfect, but it will make hunting the jumbo cactaur much more difficult to get the Guardian Force on that island, and also trying to navigate the world map in Disc 4 as well. But I'm just going over through my Guardian Forces, showing what I have, what I need. If you see a Guardian Force that doesn't have a learning ability, that means it's already learned all of its abilities. So it can't learn any more abilities naturally. You'll have to teach it abilities through items and the like. And I believe at any one time a Guardian Force can only have 20 abilities. And I'll show like how you can learn more abilities by getting rid of some old ones here in a little bit, because we're gonna use the Tonberry's call shop ability and familiar ability in this part before we progress plot. So right there off screen, I went ahead and just hunted cactaurs. Already got all the cactaurs I needed, so we got medicine level up. That'll be very useful, because we'll need to use that medicine up ability here in a minute. I guess not really in a minute, like about 10 minutes or so, when we start like shopping around for items with the Tonberry's call shop ability and all that. But I want to go ahead and go back to Shumi Village, and I want to go ahead and get some more Ultima spells, because I won't be able to travel the world map here in a little bit once we progress plot. So I just went ahead and cut it to the Shumi Village, got the Ultimas, and then now we're going to go ahead and semi-progress plot, because I'm going to go shop to my heart's content. Now, if you're probably wondering, well, Phil, you said shopping's useless in Final Fantasy VIII. Well, you're absolutely right. I think shopping is useless in Final Fantasy VIII for about 90% of Final Fantasy VIII. The 10% that's not is whenever you have the Tonberry's call shop ability, because then you can buy items that are moderately to difficult levels to find. And the Timber Pet Shop is one of those shops that I like to use at this point once I get the familiar ability, because that was one of the abilities I had the Tonberry learn. Because the familiar ability will allow you to have extra items in the shops all around the world. And I'm just going to have the party just leave Squall alone, just because of, in my mind, I like to have Squall have his moment with Rinoa later on in the story. But I'm going to show off the call shop ability here. So go to ability, go to call shop. You can call any shop that you visited in Final Fantasy VIII, Now, the Timber Pet Shop, we have the Junction Scrolls, HP, Strength, Vitality, Magic, Spirit, and then Amnesia Greens were always there, but I'm going to go ahead and buy some. Actually, I already have 10, but I will buy 5 more. Now, an Amnesia Green will delete useless abilities on a Guardian Force. For example, if you have a Guardian Force ability that has, like, say, Elemental ×2 Junction Defense, but it already has a ×4 Elemental Defense Junction, like Alexander would, then the ×2 is useless, because the ×4 will automatically give you 4, where the ×2 only gives you 2. So you could delete that ×2 ability with Amnesia Greens, and then teach a Guardian Force another ability in place of that. And so what I'd like to do is, I like to teach it a junction ability like Strength, HP, Magic, Spirit, Vitality, to cover up any of the openings that my characters don't have. So for example, if I have 3 Guardian Forces equipped, but none of them give, like, say, Strength Junction, I'll actually delete a useless ability off one of those 3 and teach it Strength Junction. So now they'll have Strength Junction or Magic Junction, because in my opinion, Magic Junction and Strength Junction are probably the two better abilities to have boosted, in my opinion, as far as just raw stats. I'm not talking about, like, elemental defenses or stats difference, just straight up raw stats. Because for one thing, Magic will dictate whether you can draw spells at a high amount, and also if your spells do a lot of damage. And in Strength Junction, you do a lot of damage with your physical attacks, up to 9,199, right? Now, what I also did is I bought some remedies from the shop, I believe. I think I've already bought the remedies, but I haven't exactly leveled them up. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to level up the remedies. So you need 10 remedies to make a remedy plus. Now, remedy plus is a pretty useless item in my opinion. It's just basically like a remedy, but it also gets rid of buffs, I believe. I'll let Future Phil correct me if I'm wrong on that. But you only need 6, which means you need 60 remedies. Now, you need 6 remedy pluses, and you also need 6 steel pipes from Wendigos in the forest around Timber or in the plains around Deling City. And we need this to get our next Guardian Force that we'll get in Esthar continent. So, and there's also another 6, which are probably the most annoying to get, but we'll cover that menace when we get there. But make sure you have your remedy pluses before you leave and your steel pipes before you leave. Otherwise, you'll have a hard time finding steel pipes unless you play triple triad and card mod. But Esthar has a pretty ridiculous set of rules, in my opinion, to play cards with. So I don't recommend relying on that. So Dr. Kotowaka will leave us alone with Rinoa, and Squall is going to take this opportunity to hijack Rinoa and take her to see Eleni. So he's like, let's go Rinoa, let's go meet Eleni. Eleni will bring us back together. And he's basically leaving everyone. He's basically saying, I can't go on like this. I need to fix this. And Rinoa is also going to glitch out because he's visual mod. So it makes it even... she's phasing in and out of existence because of the plot. Because she's comatose. And he says, it's a bit far, but we'll make it. And that's an understatement. Even though we're in the midpoint of the bridge, that's a long way to just walk on foot. So just hold right and continue on, and then we'll get a scene with Squall and Rinoa on the Great Bridge. Now, when I was younger, I thought Squall just abandoned everyone and went to Esthar, but this isn't exactly the case since everyone is waiting for him over there already. However, later in this moment that he has with Rinoa, he asks if everyone is mad at him, which makes me think that he did abandon them, but I feel like the scene kind of needed a little bit more extra context, in my opinion. But he makes a comment that he sure has changed because he's doing this all for one person. He really wouldn't have done this at first because he was a loner and all just 100% for himself. But he'll stop here for a break, and he talks about how he wonders what the others are thinking about him, and he hates that side of him, which this is a stark contrast to what he felt at the beginning of the game, because he didn't care what anybody thought. At least that's what was portrayed. But he also says, to tell you the truth, he worries about what other people think about him. He hates that side of him. And that's why he always shrouded himself in this idea of being an introvert and unfriendly guy, because it made it easy for him to get by in life that way. Now, that all said, I'm sure you see that twinkling star on the top part of the screen. That twinkling star, when I played this game for the first time, made me think that was Lavos from Chrono Trigger, another great, fantastic game from Square Enix. I'm sure I don't need any introduction in Chrono Trigger, but it may just be a nod to that game since it's also a Square Enix game, or it may not mean anything at all. But it's a pretty awesome scene, I gotta say. So he'll pick up Rinoa and he'll continue walking along this great bridge that will span the continent, will span the ocean from Galbaldia to Esthar. So it's a pretty long distance to just walk. Now, we'll arrive at this train station on the other side of the Esthar continent. And Zell and Quistis are here waiting for us. And they tease Squall about the whole situation. And he's like, you came all this way to do that, to tease me. And they make a comment that they're going to Esthar because they're Edea's escort. So Edea is actually going to accompany us, which is a pretty cool thing because she's also going to be a temporary character that we can use, and a pretty cool one. I actually do like her, and I think it's a bit of a missed opportunity. I felt like she could have been a 7th permanent party member. It would have been cool to use her against Ultimecia at the end of the game, just to have some extra flavored dialogue between the two. But, you know, maybe there's a mod for that, who knows. But Sorcerer's Edea will say that Ultimecia could still take over her, and if she does, you know, they know what to do. She wants to avoid that because she knows she values her life, and she wants to get rid of the sorcerer's powers. She says Dr. Odin might know a way, which is interesting that she wants to get rid of her sorcerer's powers. Because the only way you can get a sorceress to lose their powers is to either die or come very close to death. So that's pretty interesting. Now, after that talk, Irving and Sophie will return, and they'll say they cannot see Esthar in either the north or the south, and so we should probably go east, which has my favorite track in the game, which is a dead salt lake. And interestingly, if you examine Sophie's page on this Great Salt Lake, which I'll probably add, well, no, I'll probably wait. I'll wait to say that. So Sophie will say we got to go east because it's not north or south. So I'm going to go ahead and add Edea to Squall's party, and later on when Zell gets his time to shine, we'll go ahead and put Edea in Zell's party as well, I believe. So I'm going to go ahead and use Irving, since I haven't used Irving in a while, and we will go east. So go ahead and leave, and then go toward this giant lake that's in front of us, and then that's going to be where we need to go. Now, Edea, despite being a sorceress, has no magic on her, which is an interesting nod to something that happens later in the plot. Or I guess I should say earlier in the plot, but I'm not going to give it away. But it's interesting she does not have any magic that she used in the battles we faced her in. Maybe that was Ultimecia's magic. Who knows, that she was channeling through Edea, but I like to think that was Edea's magic. So, Edea is a powerhouse when it comes to magic. I believe she has one of the highest base magic stats in the game, which is not saying much. I think it's 28, I believe. But if you don't boost any of your abilities, I want to say Edea has one of the stronger base magic stats in the game. So, I'm going to go ahead and just equip some Guardian Forces to her. Really, you don't need to worry about her attack. Just boost her magic up to as high as you can. And what I'm doing here, as per usual, I'm going to try to get all the stat ups I can on Squall and Irving. Edea, not so much, because Edea will not be with our party forever, which is a shame. Like I said, I really wish she could have stayed in the party. And I really do like Edea's character. So, we're done. We're going to go to this great lake that's dead. Here, I'll probably add, I'll have Future Phil add the picture of the Great Lake before it was dead. It's a very interesting contrast. If you notice there in the background, you'll see some interesting flash in there. It's pretty interesting. So, Zell will say, hey, it's okay, we're Matron, but Zell will be reminded by Edea that they have to be alert in her presence, because if she gets possessed again, then they'll have to do what they have to do. Now, the party tries to cheer Squall up, but I believe, wait for it a little bit. come on, we'll all get together again. We'll bring back Rinoa. It's like a picnic. We're all going to have fun. And then Squall shoots back here at, you know, someone once told me if you mention bad things, they'll come true. Which I think that's Laguna or Kiros that said that in the second dream sequence when they're in the excavation site. But here we have my favorite track in the game that isn't a battle theme. The Great Salt Lake theme. And my goodness, it is so good, and it's such a sleeper hit by Nobuo Uematsu. I love this track to death. I want to say it gives the feel that you're in the most isolated place in the world, but somehow you have to march through this dead lake of death, because there's dinosaur bones, there's monster bones, everything's dead in this lake. It's just a great salt lake. Now up here, there's a meteor draw. No, up before is a meteor draw point where meteor. I'll go ahead and talk about meteor a little bit because we're off screen. I'm going to train a little bit, but meteor is a very good spell. Both as an attack spell and a junction spell, especially a junction spell, because meteor will deal damage 10 separate times, and when you combine this with a particular limit break on a character, it will deal a ton of damage for a cost, you could say. Now, it's also the second highest best spell to junction. Second highest best spell. It's a double positive, right? Anyways, I digress. It's the second best spell to junction for strength, and it's also the third best to junction for HP. Now, the only enemy type that's in the Great Lake are lefty, righty, and the sage. Now, a lefty has status magic to draw and quake at high levels. Righty has protect and shell magic at all its levels. And a Visage has Isunia, Haste, and Bio for the magic pool. Now, they're not too difficult to beat, and they're actually going to come up again in a particular boss fight. But, interestingly, a Visage cannot be affected by Croesus' Degenerator, Selphie's Rapture Limit Break, and Odin will not summon it himself to beat it. So, it's interesting that you can't kill those enemies with those limit breaks, or Odin. Now, like I said earlier, something I'm going to do off screen is I'm going to level up my characters to try and get high level monsters to appear, because the boss here that we're going to fight in this has a very potent spell that I want to get a hold of, the Flare spell. And this Flare spell is held by this boss at high levels, and it's one of the best spells in the game to junction as well. I want to say, I don't have the notes on it, but I know Flare, I think if you junction it to your elemental defense for one, it'll up 3 elements. I think it'll up fire, blizzard, and thunder. I think I could be wrong, but it also is one of the better spells to junction with stats. And this is the boss right here. I always want to say Abandon, but it's Abaddon. And Abaddon is a pretty easy boss. You can kill this thing in one hit, just like the boss on the train that the fake president was pretending to be, or the monster was pretending to be the fake president. So he has Kiraga, Isunia, Dispel, and Flare at high levels, and the only spell that you really want to draw is Flare. Now, Isunia is notable, and Kiraga is also notable because you have a way of healing yourself if you need to heal yourself and draw magic. Its lick attack can cause, which is what happened in Edea right there, can cause curse, and that's not very good. Now, it's an undead boss, and just like that boss on the train, you can instantly kill it with a Phoenix Downs or Revives. Now, I'll start drawing Flare throughout this battle. Now, you can also kill it with an X Potion and Elixir, like I said, Revive, and Leviathan's recovery ability will deal 9,999 to it. Now, at a high level, oh yeah, I already talked about Flare. And this is the first time we can draw the spell, so I'd like to take advantage of it right here. I like to draw 300 Flare spells, 100 for Squall, 100 for my second party member, 100 for Edea, but Edea I'm going to transfer those spells over to, say, Rinoa. Now, Abaddon is weak to fire and holy elements if you decide to take it on normally. Its normal attack, like I said, can cause lick, and it has 2 stances, which you see this one right here. He stands up right, like tall, whatever you want to say. In this form, we'll use magic. It has more defense, spirit to resist damage, and it will use the magic like confuse and blind and also dispel, I believe. Now, normally, I just insta-killed this, which is what I'm going to try to do here with Recover. But you can see there, I did 9,199. Of course, I didn't do enough, so I'm going to have Squall hit it. And of course, you see it does almost Jack Dooley squat to it. 118. Now, you can do whatever you want. I don't know why these brothers, other than the fact I love this summon, because I just think it's fun. That's mainly why I like it. It's a shame that Titan gets more of a summon for Earth Elementals than the brothers. I would have loved to see brothers be in another Final Fantasy game. But this I don't think will kill it. I'll actually do one more. I think I'll try to hit it with like another physical attack right here. But when it's in this stance, it loses its defenses. But I'm gonna hit it with Recover, and this will kill it one more time. Oh, and one more thing I didn't say about Edea. You could transfer all of Rinoa's spells to Edea. That way you don't have to have her draw so many spells or refine so many spells. But if you do that, make sure you, when we get to a certain part of the game, which I'll point out, transfer them back to Rinoa. Otherwise, you will lose those spells, and you don't want that to happen. Especially if you have a lot of valuable spells in that inventory. So we're done. We killed Abaddon. Not a very hard boss. And we'll get some extra flare stones there, so you can use, I believe, fire magic to refine those into flare spells. So you'll technically get 310 in that regard. There's nothing over here, so if you go this way, you're kind of be disappointed. I was thinking to myself, there's probably a draw point or a save point right here, but there's actually not. So I kind of think there is, but there isn't. And I go back thinking, okay, maybe if I go back it'll show, but that doesn't make sense because I have Mood Find equipped. Now, you'll see that part of the wall here, or the open space, is going to start to glitch in the Great Salt Lake, and it's a shame because I really love this track, and this is the only time we get to listen to it. Squall will fill up on this, and a hole will appear in the wall, and you can make the outlines of a ladder when it glitches in the middle. So you can climb up here and go in this hole, and we're going to find out that this is just one gigantic optic camouflage for something, but what? So all those are mirrors down there, and you got to remember that this is all supposed to be like outside, but it looks like we're inside. You can talk to this computer right here or examine it, and it will explain what is happening here, so you can try to operate it. And you'll find out that it's just one gigantic optical illusion to hide something. You can do color check. You'll see all of these nifty, colorful colors right here. And they're like, what can this be? Rinoa's like, I don't know, I'm just glitching. If you do camouflage, you'll see that it'll make the illusion of a sky, I believe. And so that's interesting that you can make a sky from these things. And then you can do random, which is just going to go between the sky and those colored panels. And to nothing, then to a blue sky. So you can see that it can create a lot of illusions. And you don't really have to examine this thing. It's just nice to know how the magic actually works. So when you're done, you can just go ahead and quit and then continue on through the door up ahead. And then advance the plot. So go ahead and leave, we'll go north, and then Edea's like, oh, this makes sense. That hole in the wall is just camouflaged by these mirrors. And Irving's like, I wonder what they're trying to hide. So we're going to find out soon according to Squall. So go through this door, which looks very Estharian. I wonder if that's how you say Esthar. Or things from Esthar. It looks like we're on some lift. And you can talk to your two party members here. And they're going to be like, I don't know what's going on, I have a bad feeling about this, and really, all we can do is just wait to get to where we need to go to. And Squall's going to go and do a little circle right there. And just leave Rinoa just laying flat on the ground. I mean, he has been carrying her for a very long time, even though he's had some breaks. Now, I'm not turning back now. I'm sure Edea's not turning back either, because she also get rid of her sorcerer's powers. Get rid of her sorcerer's powers. Anyways, it'll take a minute, but when it stops, we will see what is being hidden. This is one thing I don't like about this section. It takes so long to advance. I used to think that was just one gigantic loading screen. It stopped. Is that it? Well, we're going to go off on one lift just to go on another lift here in a minute. Well, Squall, what are we going to do? I don't care at this point. Nothing's going to surprise me. Oh, just wait. What else? Let's go. So, go through here. We'll be on a lift, and the magic will be revealed right here. The city of Esthar was right behind all these panels, behind this dead lake. And actually, Esthar, I would argue, is a dead continent because of the way it just looks. There's no rivers, there's no real bodies of water. It's just literally like a dead continent. It's like just desert. It feels like just a white desert sand, a white sand desert. So we're in the city of Esthar. It's very futuristic, and you can see here that it's very, very different from anything else in Final Fantasy VIII. I remember seeing this for the first time. I was like, man, this is a very stark contrast between Balam and, like, you know, Gabaldia's cities and all that. But we'll get here, and we are going to be sent into the last Laguna Dream Sequence, unfortunately. So there is the Dream Sequence taking over. He's like, no, not now. This isn't good. And Edea's like, what are y'all two doing? So choose whatever characters you want to put for Kiros and Ward. Of course, I'm going to put Zell as Ward, and I guess I'll put Selphie or Quistis as Kiros. Now, we'll pick back up with the squad that actually got captured by Esthar, and they gotta get their asses back to Lunatic Pandora, as that soldier said, because they are working on this project for Dr. Odin. Now, they're basically forced labor, working on here with a Moomba and another person. And you want to make sure that Laguna has all of his stuff junctioned. At this point, you might as well just equip all the guarding forces, make Laguna as OP as possible, because the battle we're going to be facing with Laguna by himself, and it's not very difficult. And of course, they've been working themselves ragged. They're hungry, and the security guards, man, it's only been 3 days. When I was young, I worked all day, all night without sleep. So they're basically being worked to death, and this is even doubly so for Moombas. They treat less than human, even though the humans are treated as, lack of better words, they're just treated as slave labor. So Laguna will not eat. That man in the green shirt will eat, but the Moomba, he's not going to eat until his work's done. And Laguna's going to make a comment that he'll be done in 2 or 3 hours, but the Moomba's job will not be done in days, and so that Moomba will not be fed, unfortunately. So the guy is like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and eat, but he makes a note of Laguna about what he just said. So, one thing right here with this scene with the Moomba who's doing some work precariously on the edge, the Moomba will either fall or Laguna will catch him when he has his little moment. Based upon what Squall did in the D District prison, did he resist or did he lie to the guard to get him to just end it quickly? If you pick the choice I did, which is just to have the guard end it quickly, in other words, just lie, then the Moomba will fall, but he won't die. If you decide to fight to the bitter end, then the Laguna will catch him before he falls. You'll see here in a bit. And Laguna is such a good guy to the Moombas. I really do like this. He says, when we get out here, I'll feed you all the food you want, and you'll get to nap all you want. So he really cares about the Moombas. He really cares about people, and that's going to play a big part in Laguna's future after this last dream sequence. Now, that's Dr. Odin, who talks in a very I don't even know what accent. I don't know if he's trying to talk like a French person or a German person. That is not working anymore. Maybe it's German. I don't know. But the Moomba will ask Laguna for a tool. Laguna will throw the tool, and unfortunately, it will knock the Moomba off balance. And of course, the guard here is going to say there's a situation, and Laguna thinks it's Kiros and Ward starting a bit of a ruckus in whatever Lunatic Pandora is, and so he's going to use this opportunity to try to stage an escape. So he throws the tool at the Moomba, and the Moomba is going to fall, and Laguna, being Laguna, is going to feel incredibly bad about the situation. He's like, oh, sorry. I feel so horrible. I'm sorry. But he doesn't realize that the Moombas, even though Esthar treats them as less than human, they don't want to lose that labor so easily. So they put safety harnesses on him. And he thinks it's just a ghost. But the guy says, nah, he's not a ghost. And he's a nice guy, and he says there's not many nice guys like Laguna. He might be a good candidate for their organization. He's like a leader. And this guy is actually part of an anti-Adel resistance force in Esthar that wants to get rid of Sorceress Adel from power. Now, unfortunately, most of them are just specialists and scientists, and there's nobody in that group to fight against Adel when things go awry. And he just so happens to notice that Laguna is both a very nice, caring person. He's also a fighter. And this is our fight against an Esthar soldier. Nothing too deadly. It's just literally one soldier in Laguna. So if you have a high strength stat, you just attack the soldier and then boom, he's done. Boop, he dead. Do 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 do. So, not too bad. Now, the Moomba and the guy will retreat, and we will have to fight against some more Esthar soldiers. So they will open the elevator, and Laguna will push this soldier into the wall, telling them to go, and he'll hold down the fort here. So even the Moomba will escape, and will remember Laguna. And I imagine that Moomba, as well as the ones in Shumi Village, are the ones that spread tales about Laguna to other Moombas around the world. That's where they all know about the word Laguna. Now, Laguna has a bit of a thing. He says 2 is better than 1, but 4 is better than 2. And Kiros is like, geez, are you starting to hallucinate? And Laguna has a bit of a moment, and he let go of the Esthar soldier here, which is stupid. But he says that Ellie is with them, and he says that they'll fight these soldiers off together. And we're given a chance here to make sure we're all geared up. Take advantage of it. Equip Kiros and Ward with Guardian Forces. Make sure they're ready, because one of the enemies you'll be fighting is a Jesper. And as you know, Jespers have Degenerator. And Degenerator will eject a character out of the battle, and you won't be able to revive them. Which is what's going to happen to me in this battle with Laguna. Laguna's going to get degenerated and ejected out of the battle. So, make sure you have Thunder Magic equipped to your attacks, and have any status up abilities equipped if you have them, to make use of the experience you're going to be getting here. That's really just my only suggestion. The enemies here are not hard. This is a very, very simple dream sequence, but a very important one. And I wish they had one more dream sequence we could have interacted with, but we don't, unfortunately. And I think we're almost done. Let's see here. Yeah, spirit bonus, magic bonus. Okay, and we should be good. So this fight's going to have a human Esthar soldier, a machine Esthar soldier, and a Jesper. So make sure that you're ready and good to go. First things first, take out the Jesper. You don't want to get hit by Degenerate like I'm about to with Laguna. And I should have just attacked that Jesper, but I did that to myself. So it's going to use the Generator, and Laguna is going to get sent to the Shadow Realm. So that's rather unfortunate. And to my knowledge, there's nothing to prevent that from happening. So it is susceptible to sleep, so if you put it to sleep, you don't have to worry about it. Now this is Blood Pain, which is Kiros' limit break, which he just does a very big rampage of cutting attacks. I didn't really show it, I don't think, with Ward or Laguna. But Ward will, I think his is called Great Harpoon. He'll just throw his harpoon in the air, jump on it, and slam it right into the ground. Laguna's is Desperado, I think, which he'll just shoot a whole bunch of bullets and throw a hand grenade and blow the whole team up. But Kiros and Laguna's are probably my favorite. Ward's is a little bit lazy, but I mean, it's there. So just make sure you take out all the enemies here, and then just take them out. They're not hard. Now, unfortunately, Kiros does not have a high attack stat because it's Q. My goodness, Ward. It's Queesis, and Queesis I didn't have strength equipped to her. But Ifrit will be sufficiently enough. Now what you see there on the bottom right is I'm using its boost ability, so if you hold select and press X when you're allowed, you can boost the attack of the Guardian Force's attack quite a bit. But I didn't really do it there. One, I already know that Ifrit's going to kill that Jesper with its base attack. So I don't really need to do that. And we get a black hole, I guess, which is nice. But we already have the generator on Queesis, so we could just really refine it into demi spells. So let's go ahead and heal Laguna up. I think he's knocked out, so we'll just revive him. So we will go upstairs and we'll see Odin for the first time. There's one, I think there's 1, 2, 3 more mandatory battles and then we're done. So Odin is that guy with the weird outfit. It looks like he's wearing a cone of shame on his neck. And they're going to be talking about Lunatic Pandora here, but we won't be able to hear the majority of the conversation. But as you can tell, it involves something with this device, and it looks like the moon from what he says. And that huge rectangular thing is Lunatic Pandora. It's a very huge monolith looking thing. So Laguna will let the Moomba go free, and he remembers his promise, like, oh crap, I forgot I said I was going to feed it and let it nap and all that. But he says that maybe it's better that he's out free and doing his own thing. Now, this person that's going to walk out the lab is actually going to be a member of the anti-Adel resistance cell, who funnels a lot of the information from the lab to the resistance. Now, he makes it slip that Dr. Odin has a new experiment called Eleni, and that Eleni is the same as what the same Eleni that Laguna is looking for. And she is the sole reason why Laguna is going through all this trouble to rescue her. And they say that they can help them find Eleni for Laguna if in exchange, he becomes their leader. And Laguna is going to agree to this without very much thought. He's just going to be like, okay, sure, whatever. We'll help your anti-Azel movement or whatever. And then War's like, oh, jeez. It's Adel. Start listening more carefully. That's what Ward would say if you looked at his eyes. But Laguna here says, I speak from passion, from the heart. That's what matters most. And that's kind of his creed in life. He really just speaks from the heart. He doesn't really care about what people think. It really just matters what he says from his heart. And he even makes a mention here, maybe he shouldn't have agreed to this so readily, because this agreement he made with this resistance cell is going to come back to haunt Laguna, and it's going to affect the main party in Final Fantasy VIII, or specifically one person in Final Fantasy VIII. But we go back into the lab, and we can go ahead and find this magazine here. The first edition of Weapons Monthly. It will have 4 out of the 6 ultimate weapons: the Lionheart, the Angel, the Shooting Star, the Exeter, I believe, and the Strange Vision, which we have the Strange Vision already. So we have 4 of those recipes already. Now, the thing that makes a lot of these weapons hard to get is the energy crystals, the moonstones for the Exeter, and I want to say star fragments, I want to say. But we can get the majority of those really easily in this 3. So Odin's here, and I was going to say Squall. The Lagunas are like, where's Eleni? And the guards are like, I can't believe you came back here. We'll have to fight some soldiers and an Elastoid, I believe. And the Elastoid, not too dangerous. Again, it's with Thunder Magic. If it's at a high level, you can still laser cannon, and a laser cannon can teach Queesis the laser cannon ability, or beam cannon, I forget what it is. But at any other level, it's going to have Dynamo Stones, which is nice, but we have a lot of them because we card modded the Quasicult Guardian Force card. So we were at plenty of dynamo stuff. So just go ahead and take out the Elastoid. I wouldn't worry too much about it. You can probably summon Quasicolt to take this thing out in one hit, or you can just make it attack it to where it has spaghetti arms like this that are going to go crazy. So that's it. It went down without a fight. We're done. So now we're going to go and confront Dr. Odin and figure out where Eleni is. Alright. He's like, what are you saying? I do not know no Eleni. Okay, I've lying. Dr. Odin, even though he's a bit of a jerk and all that, I do like his accent. So he'll run, and then we gotta go chase after him. And I think what's very funny here is Laguna will catch up to him, and he'll grab him by the collar, in my opinion, and he'll just try to run in place. So, hey there, tell me where. In Olab. Eleni Zedeh. He means Odin's lab. And he runs back into the laboratory. To go there, you go over there, and then over here. And then Laguna's like, I don't understand. He's like, Kyros, it's your show from here. So Kyros is the one who's in charge of directions, because every time Laguna does directions, he always gets lost. And the assistants are like, we'll join up with you whenever we get a chance, and we'll be in Odin's lab inside of Esthar. So, it's going to be very weird, because you guys sit on that little bench, and then you'll go up into the tube and go at the top half. So, they make a mention that they jumped out of the car and sped off, so it's kind of interesting. It kind of gives the impression they just jumped out of the car while it was moving. So the Esthar soldiers walk to that tube, and then we have to go ahead and fight these soldiers. Not very difficult. There's 2 normal soldiers on their duty, and there we're going to take them out with Kyros, Ward, and Laguna. And Ward still is glitched. Very glitched. I still love this visual mod, even though there's a few things that make me go, oh jeez. But it's still interesting. I don't know why I did that, because we're about to end this sequence and this part here in a little bit. In about 3 minutes. So, take out the Esthar soldiers, examine the little sit-down device in the middle of the room, and we'll go upstairs. And we'll get one more fight, and then we'll be done. So, there's a draw point up ahead, I believe, but you don't have to use it. I think it's Kyros. No, it's a double. Which double? Kyros has it, aka Quisa's, but you can go ahead and give it to him. So you sit down, and it will take us upstairs, like I said, like probably 3 times. So we got to open that door, and that's going to be upstairs. Whee! So go up here to the control room. We'll fight one more battle, and then we'll be given an opportunity to open. I forgot about that. I forgot about that draw point. I believe that's a flare. Or was it Frogus? I think it was Flare. Went too fast. So here we'll fight these soldiers. And they're like, huh? I believe they're robot soldiers. I think both of them are robot soldiers. Not too bad still. Or is it just 1? No, it's 2. So weak against Thunder Magic, just hit them out of the way and you'll be good. They are a little bit tougher, but you know, with Thunder Magic, you don't need to worry about it. That was odd. He didn't die. He'll die this time. Woo. And that's really it. We're already done with the Laguna Dream Sequence. But I really wish there was at least 1 or 2 more tops of Laguna's Dream Sequences to add more context to Laguna's journey and afterwards his journey. So examine the panel here. There's a chance you might hit the wrong thing, but I like to remember to have Laguna examine the little blue part of the panel, and it will unlock the door to Eleni, and we'll be done. So we'll reunite with Eleni there, and that'll be the last time we control Laguna. So I guess I'll go ahead and let the scenes play out. But if you like this part, folks, please like, subscribe to my channel, all that good stuff, and leave some comments. I really appreciate it. Appreciate all the love and support y'all giving me. But thank you so much. Eleni! Uncle Laguna! See, I told you I'd come save you. And Ward and Kyros are going to let them have their moment, and they're just going to guard them. But that's the end of this part, folks. I'll see you in the next one. Later, and bye.